It's no secret that Bill Gates is going to is definitely involved in lab grown meat, and the hope is having lab grown meat being readily available in the supermarkets. And I'll pretty much say that no one should buy it, because at the end of the day, you don't know what's going to happen to you, considering that it was made in a lab. I'm going to get into it. I'm going to get into the article now. Um, this is from APE Nutrition. Um, as I'm sure you guys could probably guess, many passionate conversations have been had in our household surrounding Bill Gates. He seems to be involved in a lot of contemporary worldly situations, and where there is a crisis, Bill is never too far away. Well, the thing is, the reason he's never too far away, and he always gets involved, because he always makes sure to get himself involved, and it's mostly for the and it's mostly just to make the world a worse place. The media will paint this picture as one of philanthropy, but to be honest, something has always seemed a little off to us regarding Bill and what he gets up to. After doing some digging, it wasn't hard to find evidence that his philanthropic actions are not what they seem. It's basically about making money, but the thing is, I would honestly say that COVID was a clear proof of the fact that Bill Gates stood to gain financially, and now the thing is, after when he cashed in his chips with the vaccine boosters, apparently now he's leading research. I think in India, on where they're gonna do some sort of type of vaccine, where you like a nozzle spray. Um, Historically, climate activists have been quite rightfully been focused on the devastating impacts large corporations have on the environment, especially oil and gas giants, and the toxic chemicals, gases, and horrific pollution that these companies produce, which destroys the planet and the health of its inhabitants. However, recently there has been little to no mention of in any news outlets of these industries with regards to um, planetary health, and the focus has been entirely shifted onto meat. The term carbon footprint has become a household phrase, and although this is not what we will be speaking about today, it is definitely relevant to this conversation. The origins of this term was surprising to us. So, if you're interested, you can read about this in our other blog titled "The Carbon Footprint." Now, before we get into this, it's worth us emphasizing that although we are huge proponents of eating meat, we are 100% against factory farming and the horrific conditions animals are subjected to under those conditions. However, I think is regenerate. I can't say that word. Sorry. Raised livestock are essential for our health and the health of our planet. Recently, it has been interesting for us to observe how the war on meat has been waged from a number of angles at the same time. You may have noticed that experts are condemning animal farming for causing climate change, while other health specialists are also promoting veganism as the healthiest option for our bodies, making widely inaccurate claims about meat being extremely unhealthy for humans to eat, especially the mainstream. Would you have thinking that meat is bad for the planet and bad for your health? The repetition of these dumbed down statements has resulted in this mantra being embedded into the subconscious and commonly accepted. However, true human and planetary health are complex issues which needs to be researched deeply and woven together carefully. Now, when we heard billionaires such as Bill Gates started to chime in on these claims, despite having no nutritional or environmental background, it made us question why. Also, the fact that regenerative agriculture always seems to be left out from the discussion shows us that demonization of meat narrative is not thought through, or even worse, intentionally falsified. There is mounting evidence of the benefits of regenerative farmed animal agriculture, and it has clearly started to present itself as one of the main solutions, not problems in the human and planetary health discussion. So let's take a deeper look at why Bill Gates might be jumping in on this conversation. First of all, he was recently quoted as saying that all rich countries should move to 100% synthetic beef, and went on to state that if people do not accept a shift away from animal based products, government regulations could be put in place to force such a transition. Pretty scary stuff. I'm not even surprised. I'm actually not even surprised by this because um, because I saw a stupid thing of where scientists said that cavemen back in those years, right, were not meat eaters, but in fact lived off of a veganism diet, and I thought that was the most stupidest thing to say because there's no there's no proof that's actually true, and it's just doesn't come off believable. Because obviously, if you didn't hunt animals back then, you just simply did not eat it. It was that simple. And obviously, Bill Gates likes to change current affairs when as far as when it comes to world events, COVID, vaccines, with this about having people stop not eat red meat. Um, Now that we know Bill isn't this selfless billionaire as it is so often made out, and it wasn't hard to find a money trail that leads back to him surrounding the newly proposed food system, it is clear to see that he is one of the individuals that will gain the most financially from a total dietary shift. I'm not even surprised that he was going to be the one to gain the most financially because he did the same thing when it came to he did the same thing when it came to COVID. Um, One of the main reasons for this is that you can't patent real food. However, fake food is a whole different story. Over the last decade, Gates has been quietly buying up farms across the United States. Yep, that's true. After using shell companies to purchase millions of dollars worth of land, and he is now sorry about that. He is now the largest farmland owner in America with 242,000 acres across 19 different states. As of today, he owns more land than all Native Americans combined, and one of his potato farms is so large it can be seen from space. Whilst buying up all this land, he's been simultaneously investing in fake meat companies such as Beyond Meat, Impossible Foods, and Memphis Meats. This obviously raises the question: could Bill Gates be hiding behind climate change to wage a war on meat for his own personal gain? Not only has Gates been pouring millions of dollars into meat alternative companies, but it also turns out that he's using his newly acquired farmland to grow the crops from which these products are made. It seems like a win-win for Bill. The scary reality of the situation is that if Gates were able to successfully influence a total dietary shift, he would not only make unbelievable sums of money, but he would also have control of a huge proportion of the food system. Billionaires deciding how we eat, no thanks, as well as being involved in the attempted removal of meat from our diets. From a climate change perspective, we also discovered he is also funding studies looking at the implications of eating meat on human health. He's a busy guy, eh? Software developer, vaccine expert, largest landowner in America, and now a nutritionist to boot. the global burden of disease study in 2017, which has a huge amount of influence on countries regarding their health decisions and food policies, claim that diets high in red meat pose almost no risk of death. However, in 2019, an updated version of the study claimed red meat was responsible for over 1 million deaths. If you run the figures, and their conclusion showed a 36 times higher death rate as a result of red meat consumption in just a 2 year period. What is incredibly interesting to note is that the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation injected a huge amount of funding into the organization to produce the global burden of disease study between 2017 and 2019. This is just another example of Bill Gates funding a study or company that confirms exactly what is promoting. However, the Lancet Medical Journal reviewed the study and completely pushed back. They released an article saying how unsatisfied they were with the way the study had been carried out and concluded that they were in disagreement with the findings. They wrote, if the current public health message advising moderate consumption of red meat as part of a healthy, balanced diet is replaced by the message that any intake of red meat is harmful, this change will probably adversely affect iron deficiency, anemia, I think that's what it says, and child and maternal malnutrition. These conditions and their associated risk factors are already responsible for considerably greater global disease burdens than a diet in red meat, particularly in low income and middle income countries. This is just one demonstration of how billionaires or corporations can easily influence the outcome of major studies that impact governmental policies through huge financial injections. The corruption in these scenarios, if often, is so great that even when the studies are proven wrong, the damage is already done. Um, this, I'm gonna stop from there. But the thing is, you get the point that I'm saying that I didn't know that I knew that Bill Gates was buying up farmland, and I knew that it was a lot of it, but I did not know it was for this reason. I did not know it was for this reason. But the thing is, as far as synthetic meat, um, I advise anyone with caution. If it's from these companies, Impossible Meats, Impossible Foods. What else was it? I'm trying to see what else, because it was companies on which he's obviously funding. Oh, okay. Here we go. So the food company, well, the meat companies that he's investing in, which you need to avoid, because it's going to be fake meat, and you don't know what the hell is going to happen. Like, you really don't know what the hell's going to happen to you. It's going to one of them's called Beyond Meat, Impossible Foods, and Memphis Meats. Those are the ones to avoid. And the thing is, and I would just say, support your local butcher, and honestly, because because at least you know those are going to be actual meat, and even though I don't eat red meat, I'm not stupid. I understand that I understand the nutritional um benefit of eating red meat in the long term. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe on this video. And if you could follow me on X, Rumble, and I'm on Patreon, and I'm on Coffee as well. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.